Following the events of the last chapter, Xiao Xuan sacrificed his own soul to help Xiao Yan's soul ascend to the Imperial Realm. Xiao Yan gazed at Xiao Xuan, who wore a gentle smile, feeling a pang of sadness in his chest. "Ancestor, refine and absorb it," Xiao Xuan said with a slight smile, flicking his finger. The crystalline light circle before him slowly descended, radiating a brilliance like a warm sun. Staring at the floating, crystalline light circle, Xiao Yan could sense the vast soul power emanating from it, as deep and immeasurable as the ocean. Even his own nearly perfected heavenly realm soul seemed insignificant in comparison. The soul of the heavenly tomb was formed from the remnants of countless powerful souls after their death, and its soul power could only be described as terrifying. "Ancestor, I will restore the glory of the Xiao clan," Xiao Yan declared. Taking a deep breath, Xiao Yan bowed deeply to Xiao Xuan from the sky, then stepped into the radiant light circle without hesitation. Instantly, the light engulfed him entirely. Xiao Xuan's form grew slightly translucent as he watched the radiant light circle, smiling with satisfaction. He was pleased with this descendant and believed that Xiao Yan might accomplish what even he had failed to do in his time. "There's still some time left. I hope you emerge victorious," Xiao Xuan murmured. He then sat cross-legged outside the light circle, occasionally glancing at the ground. Under his gaze, all the energy bodies quickly averted their eyes and retreated, fearing the powerful allure of the heavenly tomb's soul essence. Yet, none dared let this temptation take root under Xiao Xuan's intimidation. An endless ocean stretched out beneath the light circle, waves surging with the faint roar of souls echoing in the distance. Xiao Yan's figure floated above the ocean, his eyes wide with shock. Despite the small appearance of the light circle, it contained an entire world within. Through his exploration, Xiao Yan discovered something that filled him with awe. The entire ocean was composed of pure soul power. Such an immense and fearsome concentration of soul power was unprecedented in Xiao Yan's experience. Compared to this sea of souls, his own nearly perfected heavenly realm soul felt like a small, insignificant speck. "I never imagined the soul of the heavenly tomb could be this terrifying. No wonder even the ancestor had to sacrifice his soul," Xiao Yan muttered, clenching his fists. Now, he understood why someone as powerful as Xiao Xuan would resort to such a drastic measure without even attempting a normal confrontation. It was clear even Xiao Xuan couldn't confidently defeat the soul of the heavenly tomb under ordinary circumstances. With the soul of the heavenly tomb gone, the soul power here is now unclaimed. Xiao Yan's throat tightened at the thought. If word got out, the entire continent's experts would go mad for a chance to refine this soul power, elevating their own souls to an unimaginable level, possibly even reaching the legendary Imperial Realm. The gift from Xiao Xuan was indeed priceless. Resolute, Xiao Yan clenched his fists. This was not the time for hesitation. Xiao Xuan had paid such a great price to give him this opportunity, just to provide him with more leverage against the Soul Clan. Time was short, and he couldn't afford to waste it. The flow of time here is different from that in the heavenly tomb. Xiao Yan looked around, noting the dense concentration of soul power, which seemed to alter the flow of time itself. This place was like a miniature version of the heavenly tomb, though time here passed much more slowly. The tomb within the heavenly tomb. Xiao Yan exhaled deeply, gradually calming his mind. The slower passage of time here compared to the heavenly tomb was a significant advantage. Without it, he would find it nearly impossible to refine such a vast sea of soul power within just 2 months. Suspended in midair, Xiao Yan slowly descended until he was sitting cross-legged on the ocean's surface. His soul power surged from the center of his forehead, transforming into a massive, hundreds of meters tall shadow that enveloped him and sat cross-legged as well. The pure lotus demon flame began to spread from the massive soul shadow, eventually turning it into a figure of fire. The terrifying heat permeated the space around him. As Xiao Yan's soul shadow was engulfed by the pure lotus demon flame, the sea of souls around him roared into action. A 1,000-meter-wide vortex formed beneath him, and the vast soul power seemed to be violently drawn toward it, transforming into 100-meter-tall soul water columns that continuously struck the enormous soul shadow. The substantial soul water columns collided heavily with the soul shadow, but upon contact with the pure lotus demon flame, they emitted a sizzling sound, and dense white mist rose, forming a cloud that obscured the gigantic soul shadow. The soul power here, while vast and mighty, was slightly modeled, having been absorbed from countless powerful souls by the heavenly tomb soul. However, for Xiao Yan, who wielded the pure lotus demon flame, this posed no problem. The purifying power of the flame excelled in refining such energies. Additionally, with little residing within him, the purification power could refine any soul power that entered his body to its purest form with a mere thought. Above the vast ocean, giant soul water columns leaped from the surface like colossal serpents, pouring onto the soul shadow seated between heaven and earth. As the overwhelming mist rose, the massive shadow began to glow faintly, resembling a divine statue standing between heaven and earth, exuding a powerful, awe-inspiring presence. The efficiency of this refinement process would astonish many. The soul ocean churned and roared louder with each passing moment. As Xiao Yan continued this near-whale-like absorption and refinement, the pressure emanating from his soul grew increasingly terrifying. The surging soul power steadily propelled him closer to the legendary realm. 1 month passed since Xiao Yan entered the light circle. In the heavenly tomb, a month had already elapsed without any sign of him emerging. The light circle remained unchanged, with no unusual fluctuations, just as it had been a month before. Outside the crystalline light circle, Xiao Xuan sat quietly, eyes half closed, like an old monk in meditation. His body had grown even more translucent over the month, and his appearance had aged significantly. It was evident to anyone that he was nearing the end of his strength, yet he continued to wait steadfastly. Many energy bodies on the ground looked at Xiao Xuan's increasingly transparent form with sorrow. There is nothing more heart-wrenching than the decline of a hero. Xiao Xuan, a peerless figure in life and death, now appeared as an ordinary old man facing his twilight years. Under his white eyebrows, Xiao Xuan's eyes twitched slightly before slowly opening. He looked at the light circle before him, a smile appearing on his aged face as his body grew even more translucent. "Little one, my time is running out," the old man murmured softly, his voice echoing through the sky. For Xiao Yan, deep within the Sea of Souls, the 1 month in the heavenly tomb felt like a year. The massive soul shadow sat cross-legged above the ocean, thick clouds obscuring the sky. The soul shadow grew increasingly solid until it nearly transformed into a colossal, hundreds of meters tall real giant, a greatly magnified version of Xiao Yan. Breathing like thunder, the dense mist surged into his nostrils like cloud dragons. His hair flowed like a 1,000-meter waterfall, and his clothes fluttered, creating terrifying waves on the ocean surface. A majestic aura, as if he were the ruler of the world, slowly emanated from his immense soul body. It was an aura that seemed to dominate the very essence of souls. As the last day of the 2nd month approached in the heavenly tomb, many energy bodies sighed quietly. The elderly figure in the sky had become almost transparent, yet he continued to wait silently. A sheer force of will kept his flickering life force tethered to the world. "It seems I won't be able to wait much longer." Xiao Xuan's nearly transparent figure wavered as he spoke in the silent world. He smiled faintly, though his eyes held a trace of regret. "Little one, with you in the Xiao clan, I can rest easy. Farewell." Xiao Xuan's eyes slowly closed, and his body grew even fainter. However, just as Xiao Xuan was about to fade away completely, the space within the heavenly tomb suddenly trembled violently. An overwhelming wave of power, like the presence of a ruler of heaven and earth, spread rapidly. Every energy body couldn't help but prostrate themselves under this irresistible pressure. Feeling this wave of power, Xiao Xuan, on the verge of vanishing, finally revealed a look of relief in his eyes. Descendant Xiao Yan bids farewell to the ancestor. Under countless awestruck gazes, a colossal figure spanning 1,000 meters swiftly appeared in the sky, then slowly kneeled on one knee before Xiao Xuan. This gigantic figure, towering as if it stood between heaven and earth, caused all the energy bodies in the heavenly tomb to tremble uncontrollably. The sheer oppressive force threatened to make their very bodies explode. Finally, Xiao Xuan's body completely dissolved into nothingness. His aged eyes were filled with relief as they vanished. After Xiao Xuan's form became ethereal, the enormous figure remained kneeling in the sky for a long time. Gradually, the giant figure began to shrink until it returned to a normal size, standing quietly in the sky. "Ancestor," Xiao Yan murmured softly, gazing at the spot where Xiao Xuan had disappeared. He extended his hand, gently gripping the empty space. As he did so, an invisible speck of light, imperceptible to the average person, appeared in his hand. This was Xiao Xuan's life imprint, visible only to those with souls who had reached the Imperial Realm. Even if Xiao Yan's Do Qi had reached the late stage of 9-star Do Sheng, he wouldn't have been able to perceive this profound existence. From a certain perspective, Xiao Xuan's soul was almost completely dissipated. This once peerless expert who had dominated the continent of Do Qi was now thoroughly gone from this world. However, for Xiao Yan, whose soul had entered the Imperial Realm, it was not entirely so. This life imprint might one day grant Xiao Xuan new life, though such a feat was beyond even Xiao Yan's current abilities. Perhaps, when he truly ascended to the legendary Do D level, he could achieve it. Regardless, it was a glimmer of hope, distant but persistent. The invisible life imprint slowly rose from Xiao Yan's palm and entered his forehead, guarded by his vast soul power. Perhaps, one day far into the future, this elder who had given everything for the Xiao clan might reappear in the world. After securing the life imprint, Xiao Yan exhaled deeply, looking down at the world of the heavenly tomb. Although only 2 months had passed here, and less than half a month in the Central Plains, he had spent nearly 2 years in the tomb within the tomb. It took him 2 full years to completely refine the soul of the heavenly tomb. Fortunately, the altered time within the tomb allowed him to emerge after 2 years without significant changes in the outside world. "Imperial Realm Soul," Xiao Yan muttered, clenching his fist slightly as he gazed into the distance. A peculiar sense of power rose within him, as if the entire heavenly tomb space was under his control. "Explode!" Xiao Yan extended his hand, gently grasping at the empty space. A stone mountain tens of thousands of meters away suddenly exploded into countless fragments without warning. His soul power, moving with his thoughts, extended to every corner of the heavenly tomb. This extension of power was infinitely stronger than before, allowing his attacks to be executed instantly across vast distances. The difference between an Imperial Realm Soul and a nearly perfected Heavenly Realm Soul was like that between heaven and earth. There was no comparison between the two. Only by truly experiencing the might of the Imperial Realm could one understand why the barrier of the heavens was insurmountable, no matter how hard one tried throughout their life. Between them, one was divine, and the other mortal. "Perhaps it's time to leave," Xiao Yan said, suspended in the sky. With Xiao Xuan gone, there was nothing left in the heavenly tomb to keep him. However, due to refining and absorbing the heavenly tomb soul, Xiao Yan could feel he had absolute control over this space. This meant that even after leaving the Gu realm, he could easily open a passage to the heavenly tomb from anywhere. Additionally, anyone wishing to tear open a space rift to enter the heavenly tomb would need his permission. In a way, Xiao Yan had become the master of the heavenly tomb, deciding who could enter and leave. This unexpected gift surprised Xiao Yan. Although the dense energy of the heavenly tomb no longer significantly benefited him at his current strength, the time difference compared to the Central Plains was extremely appealing. This could greatly enhance training efficiency, serving as a great advantage for both him and his forces. "It saves me the trouble of creating a space," Xiao Yan thought with a smile, feeling satisfied with this additional gift. If he had to create a space himself, it wouldn't possess such unique properties, as this ability was exclusive to Do D experts. Suppressing his emotions, Xiao Yan lightly traced his finger in the void before him, causing a space rift to appear. He glanced around the space once more before stepping through. The space rippled and then vanished from countless gazes. In the Gu realm, several figures hovered in the sky above the vast mountains, frowning at the slowly rippling space before them. Patriarch Gu Yuan. What's happening? Lei Ying asked Gu Yuan beside him in surprise. The half-month mark is approaching. If Xiao Yan doesn't come out soon, the Soul Clan might really kill his father, Yanjin added. Ever since Xiao Yan entered the heavenly tomb, he hadn't shown any signs of emerging, and the time agreed upon with the Soul Clan was fast approaching. The heavenly tomb is closed, and this space passage is completely sealed. I attempted to open a passage earlier, but a force repelled me. It feels as though the heavenly tomb now has an owner, Gu Yuan said, frowning, his words shocking everyone. The heavenly tomb could only have one master, the Dodi expert who created it. Over the years, it had remained ownerless. Though they had once tried to refine it, they had all failed. The space created by a Dodi expert was far beyond their control. Hearing Gu Yuan's words, even with their steadiness, they found it hard to believe. But they knew Gu Yuan couldn't be wrong about such a thing. What about brother Xiao Yan? Sooner, standing beside Gu Yuan, asked, her face pale from his words. She wasn't interested in whether the heavenly tomb had an owner, but Xiao Yan was still inside. If Gu Yuan couldn't open the space passage, how would Xiao Yan return? I'll try again, Gu Yuan said, his expression darkening slightly. With his strength, even if the heavenly tomb had a mysterious new owner, it couldn't completely block his entry. As soon as Gu Yuan finished speaking, he changed his hand seal, causing the energy of heaven and earth to roar into action. In the sky, this energy quickly transformed into a massive, 1,000-meter-long energy hand that reached down fiercely toward the rippling space. The colossal shadow cast by the energy hand enveloped the nearby mountain ranges. The speed of the energy hand was astonishing. In a flash, it reached the rippling space. However, just as it was about to strike, the rippling suddenly intensified. A wave of force erupted from within, clashing heavily with the giant hand, scattering Gu Yuan's attack. This sudden change left everyone in stunned silence. Gu Yuan's power was immense. He was one of the most powerful beings in existence. His attack was something that even Lei Ying and Yan Jin would have to use all their strength to withstand. Yet, a mere ripple had scattered his attack? A soul wave? How is that possible? Lei Ying and Yan Jin exclaimed in shock as they recovered from their astonishment. The idea that a soul wave alone could repel Gu Yuan's attack indicated an incredibly terrifying level of soul power. Something's changed. Prepare the formation. The three immortals of the Gu clan, standing not far behind Gu Yuan, also looked serious. With a low shout, numerous Gu clan experts emerged from the surrounding mountains, quickly gathering their doqi to form a formation. Who are you? This is the Gu clan. We are here only to retrieve someone and have no other intentions. Gu Dao shouted, his face still grave, as the formation was set up. Just as Gu Dao finished speaking, a space passage slowly formed in the rippling space. Under the watchful eyes of the tense Gu clan experts, a figure stepped out. If you're just here to pick someone up, isn't this setup a bit excessive? The figure stepped out of the space passage and, seeing the large formation in the sky and the Gu clan experts prepared for battle, his expression turned amused. Xiao Yan? Everyone was stunned as they saw the figure emerge from the space passage. Earlier, a powerful expert clashed with our clan leader. We were. Gu Dao exhaled slightly, waving for everyone to relax, and smiled at Xiao Yan. However, before he could finish speaking, he saw the look of shock suddenly appear on Gu Yuan's face, cutting him off mid-sentence. The person who intervened earlier, was that you? Gu Yuan's gaze fixed intensely on Xiao Yan, his heart filled with tumultuous waves. Upon hearing this, everyone, including Sun Er, Yan Jin, Lei Ying, and others, froze. But Xiao Yan's next response deepened their astonishment. That might have been me. An Imperial Realm Soul. How is that possible? All eyes stared blankly at the young figure emerging from the spatial passage. Even someone with Gu Yuan's composure couldn't hide his disbelief. Though an Imperial Realm Soul wasn't as terrifying as a true Do Di, it was still related. Even mighty experts like Yan Jin and Lei Ying, who had reached the 8-star Dosheng level, hadn't achieved this. They clearly remembered that just half a month ago, Xiao Yan's soul was still at the peak of the heavenly realm. What could be accomplished in half a month? Typically, only a bit of minor training. Yet, in these 15 days, Xiao Yan's soul power had undergone a near-miraculous transformation. Seeing the sudden silence around him, Xiao Yan, who had just emerged from the heavenly tomb, couldn't help but shake his head. Though only half a month had passed in the outside world, he had spent nearly 2 years in the tomb. While others found it unbelievable, it wasn't surprising to him. 2 years of training, coupled with the vast soul power within the tomb, made reaching this realm quite imaginable. How did you achieve this? Yin Jin licked his lips, finally unable to resist asking. Although they hadn't focused primarily on soul cultivation, after so many years of training, their souls were still at the peak of the heavenly realm, far from the Imperial Realm. An opportunity granted by my ancestor, Xiao Xuan, Xiao Yan replied, without going into much detail. Hearing this, Yin Jin and Lei Ying were momentarily stunned, then shook their heads with wry smiles, their admiration for Xiao Xuan deepening. Despite being dead for so many years, his abilities remained formidable. Did you find a way to revive Xiao Xuan? Gu Yuan, having calmed down, glanced at the space behind Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan fell silent for a moment, then shook his head slightly and said softly, "The remnant soul of my ancestor has already dissipated in the heavenly tomb." Gu Yuan was stunned for a moment, looking at Xiao Yan. After a while, he sighed. Although he didn't know what exactly had happened to Xiao Yan in the heavenly tomb, he assumed that the elevation of Xiao Yan's soul realm had something to do with Xiao Xuan's soul dissipating. Thinking of this, his expression became slightly complex. His relationship with Xiao Xuan had been filled with both competition and a bond between men. He knew that if Xiao Xuan hadn't been the clan leader of the Xiao clan, they might have become the closest of friends. However, their identities dictated that they could not act solely based on their desires. Their clans were always their top priority. Tomorrow is the deadline set by the Soul Clan. Gu Yuan clasped his hands together and stared at Xiao Yan. What do you plan to do? What choice do I have? For my father, I have no other option. Xiao Yan shook his head, feeling a bit helpless. No matter what, he had to rescue his father. This was a promise he had made to his 2 elder brothers. Upon hearing this, Lei Ying and Yin Jin exchanged a glance and could only sigh. They knew that no one could be blamed for this situation. The Gu clan under Xiao Yan's control belonged to the Xiao clan, and he had absolute authority over it. Moreover, Xiao Yan was now a powerful ally against the Soul clan. Especially after emerging from the heavenly tomb, even mighty figures like them no longer dared to view him as a junior. They understood that with his Imperial Realm Soul, Xiao Yan would no longer fear them in a confrontation. Gu Yuan was not surprised by Xiao Yan's response. After pondering for a moment, he said, "In that case, we will set out tomorrow. This time, strong warriors from the 3 clans will accompany you. Once your father is safely in your hands, we will make our move. No matter what, we must retrieve the ancient jade or destroy it." Gu Yuan's expression was unusually serious because he knew that if the Soul Clan managed to collect all the ancient jade and open Tuasha Ancient Emperor's estate, the Emperor of the Soul would gain the opportunity to advance to Dodi. At that point, no one in the world could stand against him. Their so-called coalition would be like moths to a flame, utterly powerless against a Dodi. Xiao Yan nodded in agreement. With the support of the 3 clans, he felt more confident in negotiating with the Soul Clan. Even though he had reached the Imperial Realm Soul level, it did not mean he could contend with ultimate experts like the Emperor of the Soul. Moreover, the Soul Clan was teeming with strong warriors. Even without the Emperor of the Soul, figures like the Void-Swallowing Flame and the 4 Demon Saints of the Soul Clan would pose significant challenges. The Sky Mansion Alliance has also been informed. Their forces should arrive at the Burial Heaven Mountain Range tomorrow. With the combined strength of all parties, we will not fear the Soul Clan, Gu Yuan said. Xiao Yan nodded again. The strength of the Sky Mansion Alliance had also begun to show. Not only did they have formidable figures like the old ancestor of the Pill Tower and Xiao Chun, but now they also had him, an Imperial Realm Soul. In terms of overall strength, they were not much weaker than the Yin clan and Lei clan. During your time in the Heavenly Tomb, I personally sealed the spatial passages of the Yin, Lei, and Gu clans. If there is any disturbance in the three clan spaces, it will be immediately reported back. Additionally, all elders in seclusion have been forcibly summoned. At the slightest command, we can fully mobilize. The tragedies that befell the Ling, Shi, and Yao clans served as a final warning to the remaining three clans. This time, Gu Yuan personally handled the spatial connections, ensuring that no one in the world could break his spatial barriers without alerting him. Not even the Emperor of the Soul could do this unless he truly reached the Do D level. Now that you have successfully emerged from your retreat, everything is in place. All we need to do now is wait for tomorrow. Hearing Gu Yuan's words, the expressions of those present grew solemn. They all knew that tomorrow would witness an earth-shattering battle, likely the greatest the continent of Doqi had seen in thousands of years. Night enveloped the realm of the Gu clan, and the cool moonlight poured down in streams. In a tranquil courtyard nestled within a bamboo forest, Xiao Yan stood with his hands behind his back, gazing at the sky. His expression was one of slight nostalgia and complexity. Unknowingly, it had been more than a decade since he traveled from the Black Corner region to Central Plains. During this time, the youth he once was had shed all his past frivolities, step by step, transforming from an unknown figure to the leader of a powerful alliance that dominated Central Plains. However, the simple conviction that had driven him all these years was merely to rescue his father, whom he hadn't seen for decades. "Father, tomorrow we will finally meet." Xiao Yan clenched his hand slightly, revealing an ancient jade piece. From that ancient jade, a faint soul light glimmered. As his fingers brushed over the soul light, Xiao Yan raised his head and took a deep breath. Even now, as one of the pinnacle powerhouses admired by countless people on this continent, he couldn't forget the days in the small Wutan city, when his genius suddenly turned into waste. Amidst the mockery and ridicule, his father's eyes remained full of love and kindness, never wavering due to the external judgments. In fact, there was a tinge of self-blame. During those 3 years of constant derision, Xiao Yan persevered, ultimately emerging triumphant. Xiao Zhan's incomparable importance was evident throughout this journey. "Yenner, you've surpassed all the expectations he had for you," Xiao Yan murmured to himself. He had trained hard, finally reaching the pinnacle of the continent, but the father who had always hoped for this moment was no longer there to witness it. "Brother Xiao Yan," as Xiao Yan whispered softly to himself, a gentle figure nestled against his back, her delicate hands encircling his waist. Her beautiful face, even in the moonlight, outshone everything else. "Uncle Xiao would be very proud of your accomplishments now." Xiao Yan turned and gently clasped Sun Er's hands. After a moment, he collected his emotions, wrapped his arms around her, and suddenly smiled. "When I was a child, I told my father I wanted Sun Er to be my wife. At that time, he sternly warned me not to daydream. But I could see he was very fond of you. This time, once we rescue him, I'll ask him to officiate our wedding." Sun Er rested her cheek gently against Xiao Yan's chest. Hearing this, her face blushed slightly, but her eyes sparkled with happiness. She nodded obediently, filled with joy. Looking at the beautiful, flower-like face in his arms, Xiao Yan felt a warm sensation in his heart. He chuckled softly, wrapping his arm around Sun Er's slender waist. Under Sun Er's shy gaze, he lowered his head and kissed her alluring red lips. With a wave of his sleeve, the door to the room opened automatically. In a flash, they both slipped inside, and the door closed tightly behind them with a bang. The night grew still, and the room was filled with an atmosphere of springtime romance. The next day, as the first rays of sunlight spilled over the horizon, the previously quiet Gu clan was almost instantly filled with the sound of wind breaking through the sky. Numerous powerful auras surged forth rapidly. The great battle had finally arrived.